Before I start this video on the simplification of daily profiles, I would like to give my condolences to one of my mentors and friends, Konstantin Halish, or as known Kostya Kudo. He died October 11th when I was in judo training. He died with a gunshot wound to the head. Now, a lot of people say it's suicide, a lot of people say it's murder. News are news in the end of the day. But I know one thing, he was a very good trader, a very good Samaritan, giving a lot of money and support to the army of Ukraine. Overall, I hope his family does well. Now, let's get back to the video. So, daily profiles. We have three types of daily profiles. One being London reversal, which is when price goes above or below midnight opening price. Then we have New York manipulation, when price goes above or below midnight opening price, but this manipulation occurs of the London consolidation. I'm going to explain all of them piece by piece. New York reversal is when New York establishes a high of day or low of the day. Now, how do you trade and identify these? So a London reversal, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. It's when, during London itself basically taps into a higher time frame PD array. What are the higher time frame PD arrays that we look at? We look at the 1 hour and above PD arrays. So 1 hour, 4 hour, and the ones in between. So with that, London taps into a, here we see that it taps into a 1 hour PD array. Let's say it's buy side. So it goes to buy side, so now we want to look for sell side, right? So from London, we let London print out, we see that London tapped in. It's basically a manipulation of the Asian range and the overnight session, if you would like to say it like that. Normally it doesn't always manipulate the Asian and Asian session or the overnight session. This, you just need to focus on the fact that did London hit a 1 hour or above PT array, and did it display slower, creating a change in the state of delivery so that New York can follow it through. So if we go into a premium market, into a premium PD array, we want to see sell side, so we want to see a discount. So with that, New York needs to go low. It's the effect of manipulation, distribution, so accumulation, manipulation, distribution. If it makes sense to you. Let's hope it does. Then we see New York manipulation. It's the same concept as London reversal. Thing is that New York manipulates the London consolidation high or low, depending on what you want to see, right? So in this case, we see that New York manipulates the consolidation high, closes back inside the range, creates a change in the state of delivery, and displaces lower during New York. Then we have New York reversal. A New York reversal basically establishes a New York high of day or low of the day. So meaning normally the daily candle forms with a open, high, the body, the low and the close, right? Or vice versa, open, low, high, close. So in this case, London is consolidating. Then we see that New York opens, and since London was here, let's say it's here, right? London ended here, we traded, and then New York opens and we create a wick. Now it's the new high of the day. Since this was a new high of the day, with New York opening above it, it's a new high of the day, and vice versa to the downside. If you take, for instance, an indicator by 2 degrees, the higher time frame indicator, you will see that on the daily chart we see the open, the high of the candle, and then you can identify a lot easier where is the high of the day. Now after that, New York reversal, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We want to see displacement to the downside in this case and to continue it lower. Now This is all pretty and all, but one thing you have to keep in mind is what is going to be our invalidation of the daily profiles. Now, you need to understand that if you have an invalidation of the daily profiles, it automatically invalidates the day. The only invalidation of the daily profiles is London expansion. So for instance, when London expands, we see that London opens from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York Standard Time, EST Standard Time or whatever, New York minus 4 UTC. When London expands and just keeps expanding, it exhausts the daily range. Meaning if London expands, New York doesn't have much volatility to work itself through. So if you see that if London expands, you can always backtest it yourself. But most cases is that when London expands without hitting a 1 hour PD array or higher, it generally means that New York will consolidate and get ranged. So for instance, we see that we open, we go low, then we displace, then we just chop. So that's basically how New York session will play out for you if you see that London expands. So this is the only invalidation of the daily profiles that you need to focus on. London expands, you close the day, because with London expanding, this means that it exhausts the daily range and you cannot trade the New York session properly. Now we see the chart examples that I always post on my Discord on my bias session. So we see here all the three cases. We see a London reversal, New York manipulation, and New York reversal. So let's start with London reversal. We see the open. This means that the daily candle opened right here. This is the wick, opened and kept going up, up, up. Alright, created a fair value gap. Now with London, we see that London created it's tapped into a 1 hour PD array. Then it started displacing higher, creating a change in state of delivery. Now you might say that, oh well, by the way, the start of London is from this downside candle. Now you can say, oh well, but we see that London kept expanding here, so if it's the 1 hour chart, is 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So, but it kept expanding, so why didn't it invalidate today? It didn't invalidate today because London did expand, but this was a London reversal. This is a London reversal because it tapped into a 1 hour PD array. What 1 hour PD arrays are we looking for? Looking for buy side or sell side, fair value gaps, order blocks, and even breakers or rejection blocks. I don't really use those two. I only focus on fair value gaps and liquidity, highs and lows. Then the market played out for itself. New York session then manipulated in this trade, I remember, and displaced higher, and I took the longs. Now we have New York manipulation. We see that London has consolidated a lot, to be honest. If you see it, there's a high, low, we're going everywhere here. New York opens. I believe this is on the 30-minute chart, if I remember correctly, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is the fact that New York opens right here, goes lower, manipulates the consolidation of London, these lows right here, into a PD array, and goes higher. Now I marked New York manipulation from this candle, but it should have been like this from here to here because it's a manipulation of a consolidation, but I marked it out here because for me it made more sense. But if you wanted to mark it out from this consolidation sweep, it doesn't really matter. It's all perspective for you then. But you can see that we manipulate the consolidation low, we continue displacing higher, then 9:30 opens, it fucking manipulates every single failure swing inside here, but then we kept displacing higher. New York reversal is very interesting because on a New York reversal you really need to wait a lot. What do I mean by that? So a New York reversal can happen, as we said, New York session is from 8 a.m. to 12. So what happens is to identify a New York reversal, you really need to be perfectly set with the understanding of the price delivery and basically how market price moves. So in this case, I saw that this was a consolidation. We did manipulate a low right here, we displaced, but then we displaced back up, something that I don't really want to see. So if we displace back up, so it's an expansion with expansion, supposedly it's a reversal to the upside, right? But thing is, with this supposedly reversal to the upside, we actually manipulated this high right here. Not only we manipulated this high right here with New York session, we are closing this 1 hour candle back inside this range and this candle's range. So then 10 a.m. opens on the 1 hour chart. Now for the New York reversal, you really need to be careful with aligning time and price, because so sometimes when you try to establish a New York reversal, you might be faked out. You really need to wait there if you think the daily profile is that one. So for instance, I really want to see 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. How they're going to trade. In this case, we see 8 a.m. candle, the 9 a.m. candle right here, then the 10 a.m. candle. I would expect to respect this EQ to trade lower. That's how you basically trade it. New York reversal is a more difficult concept to trade if you really don't have a good understanding of price delivery and how it works. But for that, you have my videos before, you can always watch them. It explains it to the thinnest tin of hair. You can always watch it and get a better understanding.